Welcome back to Sawbones Barbecue. I'm your host, Sawbones, and with me on the camera, as always, is FT. We did a video the other day on reverse seared wood-fired steaks, which is a really key skill to have for a pellet smoker. You can make a steak that's just much better than what you can do on a grill. And we had a couple questions on the sauce we put on it. I just casually mentioned that we did a homemade chimichurri sauce, which is really delicious on a wood-fired steak. And we had a couple questions about how to do that, so we're gonna do just a quick sidecar video on how to make a really simple chimichurri sauce, which is delicious on a lot of different things, but really good on a wood-fired steak. So our ingredients, we have 1 cup of Italian flat leaf parsley. You snip the leaves off the stems, get the leaves, and it needs to be 1 cup firmly packed. So you usually need to buy about 2 bunches of parsley, nip all the leaves off, and then when you put it in your dish, just smash it down. So this is a compressed 1 cup. The other green ingredient is oregano, again 1 cup, but this is not packed. This is just loose oregano leaves that you just peel off the stem. 1 cup of oregano, about 6 cloves of garlic. I've got this peeled and trimmed and ready to go. And then for our dry ingredients, 2 teaspoons of salt, half a teaspoon of black pepper, half a teaspoon of red pepper flakes. The liquids, we have 4 tablespoons of red wine vinegar and 1 cup of olive oil. I'm not real particular about what kind to use, so use what you will. Today I'm using this Jacobsen garlic and black pepper salt, which I kind of like on steak, so I'm going to try it in the chimichurri sauce. But you can use anything you like. So those are our ingredients. We're going to start with getting the green ingredients into the food processor. And you can double this batch if you have a big enough food processor, or you can just barely fit 1 standard batch into the smaller size food processor. So just kind of be mindful of what size equipment you're using when you figure out if you want to double the recipe or do a standard. So 1 standard is pretty good for this size. Get the oregano in there. 6 nice big garlic cloves. And you can adjust this to taste. If you like a more robust sauce, you can put extra garlic and extra pepper. Last time I made it, I did double the garlic and triple the pepper. The only person that liked it was me. Everybody else tried to be polite. So for today's purposes, I'm just gonna show the standard recipe and adjust it as you see fit. Now we're doing the 2 tablespoons of salt. And in this dish, we have half a tablespoon of black pepper, coarsely ground, and half a tablespoon of red pepper flakes. And now in this dish, we have 4 tablespoons of red wine vinegar. Kind of try to get the dry ingredients to get wet and sink down in there a little bit so it doesn't all puff up when I get started. And then I'll put just a little bit of the oil in to start with, again, just so that dry ingredients get sticky. And then I'm gonna hold back the rest of the oil to kind of drizzle in as we process it. So that's ready to go. We're gonna put the lid on our food processor here. And I just start with kind of a couple pulses to get it going. Give the sides a little scrape. Starting with a little bit of the liquid in there first helps it not be a complete mess. And then the rest of the way we're gonna drizzle in the liquid, hopefully in a somewhat controlled fashion. So this thing's got a little dispenser where you can put the oil in the top. If you don't have that, you can just do it by hand, it doesn't really matter. And now we're gonna run this. I'm gonna stop and scrape the sides a little bit to get any of the chunky stuff that isn't getting properly blended. And then we'll finish it off here. And that's that. I usually like to run it for a minute or so. It doesn't have to be completely thin. I like a tiny little bit of chunkiness to it, but you wanna make sure all the garlic has been properly minced up so you don't see any big chunks in there. But the sauce can still have a little bit of thickness and chunkiness to it when you're done. The nice thing about this recipe is you can kind of adjust it to taste. You can have a little sample, and then if you don't think you got enough in there, add some garlic, salt, a little additional pepper, whatever you think. That's very good. It's kind of zesty. A little bit goes a long way on your steak. And if you like to spruce it up, you can. This is credit where credit is due. This is not my recipe. I got this from a good friend of mine, Bill Daner, that I did residency with back in the day in Virginia. And I think it's his wife's recipe, and it may have been a family recipe from her, I'm not sure. So Suzanne, if you see this, thanks for a great recipe. I've been using it for years and I sure do appreciate it. And for viewers watching, you can tinker with this. You can add some additional spices and seasonings if you see fit and just kind of experiment with it and give it a try. It's a great recipe to complement your wood-fired steaks. Thanks for watching, and we'll be back again soon with more videos. If you like what you saw today, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and stay tuned for more.